Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
In the 1990s, a violent drug organization moved thousands of kilos of Colombian cocaine through the Virgin Islands and into Georgia. It would take a task force of dedicated agents and police to shut down this multi-million-dollar operation and destroy a cocaine empire.
The U.S. Virgin Islands are a tourist's paradise. Lush tropical islands and miles of sandy beaches, all in America's backyard. But these islands hold a dark secret. Law enforcement refers to them as the cocaine funnel. Because they are located halfway between South America and the U.S. mainland, drug gangs use the islands to ship large amounts of cocaine into the U.S. Starting in the early 90s, a drug gang called the Island Boys shipped thousands of kilos of cocaine into the U.S. through the Virgin Islands. They chose the unlikely city of Augusta, Georgia as their main point of entry. There they turned the cocaine into crack. FBI Special Agent Tim Cox.
It was primarily the population that drew them in. At the time, there were several projects that were ripe for selling crack cocaine. It's also a 2-hour city. You're 2 hours away from Atlanta. You're 2 hours away from Savannah.
But the competition between the Island Boys and local drug gangs is brutal.
People shot, 6 of them females, in 3 different shootings across the city. 2 are dead. We have the latest. 2 women dead tonight. 5 other victims are recovering in a hospital after a string of shootings in Augusta.
The latest one happening tonight in broad daylight in an apartment in River Glen, right near downtown Augusta, where a gunman shot 4 women. We have Kennedy Harris. She's been live out there for us tonight. Kennedy, what can you tell us?
Well, Laura, right now the street is pretty quiet. The investigators cleared out about 30 minutes.
Busy Augusta Road. Here's the latest.
I saw the lights and going on. I was wondering what happened, and then once I saw the tarp up, I said, oh my Lord, it's time for this to stop.
Richmond County deputies are rushing to North Leg and Wrightsboro Roads Friday, responding to a shooting. Police say the deadly incident happened during rush hour just after 4 p.m.
We got to put this to a stop because it's time is time. I mean, this has been going on from Augusta, and it's been going on from the end of time. Now it's time for us to come to the round table.
The Richmond County coroner says 26-year-old Raymond Bryant was shot at least 1 time in his car while in traffic.
That announcement coming today in Augusta. 33 people are under arrest. News Channel 6's Devin Johnson was there. He's live in our newsroom now. And Devin, the sheriff's office says this bust stretches from here to Atlanta.
Brad, the investigation has been going on for 2 years. This is the 6th major operation for the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. And they say they're letting criminals know they'll be busted. Operation Snowfall. The name of the investigation because the amount of drugs and cocaine seized. During the investigation, federal agents and sheriff office investigators seized more than $500,000 in cash, more than 2 kilos of cocaine, 32 grams of crack cocaine, more than 9 pounds of marijuana, and 33 guns.
So that's 32 individuals that we've sent the message out, and to everyone else that, like I said before, we're getting quite good at these operations, and we're going to continue these operations.
The indictments come from a 2-year investigation. The sheriff says they got a tip about drug-related activities happening in a South Augusta location.
3 of them were actively involved in homicides in Richmond County from 2017, 2018, and 2019. So you just don't have the drugs, you have the guns, and you have murder.
Sheriff Roundtree says it started with Terrence Freeman, then continued with members of his family. The sheriff says the suspects were delivering cocaine from Atlanta to several locations through this region.
You had one individual who recruited his sons, his brothers, his cousins. It's a criminal enterprise that you see on television or you see in the movies.
8 people have been charged so far. If convicted, they could face fines and 20 years to life in prison.
14 people in jail, 2 still out there, and 1 in the process of being taken in. After a gang roundup in Augusta this week, 17 people indicted on organized crime and street gang charges. The sheriff says they're members of one of the most violent gangs in the area. The gang is called LOE, or Loyalty Over Everything. Investigators say there are more than 50 members in it, and even though the arrests could put a big dent in the gang's illegal activities, the sheriff says the gang problem lives on. News Channel 6's Mike Miller covering this story and the gang culture in Richmond County. Mike?
Well, Brad, when Sheriff Richard Roundtree took office in 2013, he created a gang task force and an intelligence unit. Now, since then, the agency has gained a lot of valuable information and is using that to try to destroy the foundation of violent gangs in Augusta.
This organization was involved in murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, drug distribution, firearms violations, witness tampering, along with several other state and local charges.
The sheriff says these 17 people are a part of the gang LOE, Loyalty Over Everything. Investigators say the gang started in the 1980s as the Shirley Avenue Boys, which is a street located off Olive Road.
Originally, when we started looking at it, around the Shirley Avenue area, the Olive Road area, that side of town, when we were having shootings a couple of years ago, we know they were heavily involved, and we concentrated on that. But as we looked deeper into the investigation, we saw that they were doing activities throughout Richmond County to include other counties.
Investigators say Loyalty Over Everything is affiliated with the Blood Gang. Its members use various hand signs, including the number 32 or the letter L.
We know there's more than 17 people involved. But hopefully we can gain valuable intelligence to that throughout the prosecution process.
The sheriff says right now the gang task force is tracking more than 90 different
gang violence in Richmond County. The sheriff's office says 9 gang members are off the streets tonight.
That's right. They say the suspects are the members of the sex money murder gang, and their arrests are the result of a 10-month investigation. Devin Johnson has the story.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, the District Attorney, and the U.S. Attorney's Office announced the arrest of 9 men they say are gang members. They say the suspects are members of the sex money murder gang, and the arrests are the accumulation of a 10-month investigation.
We have recently rendered another significant blow toward gang activity in this area.
Anthony Butler, Christopher Cohen, Rajon Coleman, Jamal Duke, Jonathan Duke, Johnny Franklin, Philip Jackson, Eric Wiley, and Rashad Smith have all been charged with the violation of street gang terrorism. District Attorney Natalie Payne says the investigation took a lot of men.
In your neighborhood all in one year. People describe Harrisburg as an established neighborhood full of good people, but neighbors say it also has a lot of crime and drug activity. We found just this year, narcotics officers have confiscated thousands of dollars worth of drugs in Harrisburg alone.
When I come home. Historic Harrisburg is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Augusta. Once home to mill workers. Its streets are now decorated with some of Augusta's oldest churches and houses a large pocket of Augusta's drug trafficking problem.
Want to slide over there towards Gardner for a second?
Richmond County Narcotics led us right along in Harrisburg. Narcotics investigator Cecil Ridley is in the front seat.
Guy back there, he's one of the ones we used to deal with on a regular. I didn't know he was out.
Watch as a spur of the moment stop on Gardner Street.
Let me holler for you 1 second. Who been smoking weed? Smoking weed? You smoking a weed? I ain't smoking no weed.
Turns into a full-blown drug bust. That day, investigators say they found more than 45 grams of crack cocaine, 29 grams of weed, and a firearm in the house. They arrested twins Tavares and Travis Peterson, charged with possession of cocaine and trafficking cocaine. Let's look at the bigger problem in Harrisburg. This is not out of the ordinary. So far in 2018, investigators have executed 10 search warrants in Harrisburg on suspected drug houses. We did the math. In the last 10 months, they found more than 1,000 grams of weed in those Harrisburg homes, more than 80 grams of crack cocaine, and 50 grams of meth in Harrisburg.
Do you see kind of repeat offender houses, the same ones?
A lot of times, and a lot of times what it is, these property owners, they'll rent to anyone, because there's a no credit check, stuff like that, and that's the key to open door there.
Here's what we noticed. A background check in Richmond County's case management would reveal every tenant listed on these search warrants has had prior drug charges. We didn't find homes searched twice by RCSO in 2018, but we did find the same landlords popping up. We found,
Out of Augusta, where one person is dead, no one in custody after a shooting at Dogwood Terrace. News 12's Travis Ragsdale is live there now. Travis, this is not the first time we've heard about violence at Dogwood Terrace, and you're talking to a lot of people out on scene. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right, Jess. Now, the shooting last night happened around 11 o'clock. I'll show you behind me. It happened on 3rd Avenue behind me, but the victim was actually found down on 2nd Avenue, down Old Savannah Road. We spoke to the victim's mother not too long ago, and she says the shock.
More than 50 suspected gang members behind bars. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office detailed Operation Kibosh today, an investigation into a white supremacy gang that has spread throughout the Southeast. And Governor Brian Kemp in town, joining Sheriff Richard Roundtree for that big announcement. News Channel 6's Chloe Salsameda has details.
Human trafficking, drug crimes, and acts of violence against law enforcement. Those are just some of the crimes the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says a white supremacy group committed. Dozens of those gang members are now off the streets, but investigators say their jobs aren't over just yet.
If you commit crimes in Augusta, in the great state of Georgia, we will not only pursue you, but we will catch you, and we will indict you, and we will convict you.
For 2.5 years, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office has had its eye on the Ghostface gangsters.
The Ghostface gangsters are a prison gang with roots in white supremacy. They have no respect for human life.
Investigators say they formed in Georgia, spreading to South Carolina and Tennessee, allegedly committing crimes as they...
Hey everybody, I'm Brad Means. Thanks for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins tonight with a double murder investigation underway in Augusta. 2 people shot to death inside a local barber shop this afternoon. Deputies looking for leads right now. Here's News Channel 6's Wes Cooper.
The crime tape is still up here at Johnson's Beauty and Barber Salon in the Harrisburg neighborhood in downtown Augusta, just off of Eve Street. Police say that even though this shooting happened here at this business, it is not considered a dangerous place.
Somebody needs to do something about this. This is getting too dangerous.
Do you feel safe in Harrisburg?
Sometimes, no.
Heavy hearts in the Harrisburg community Monday as 2 people were shot to death at a neighborhood barber shop.
I couldn't believe that this is happening. I still don't believe it.
Sergeant William McCarty with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says police rushed to Johnson's Beauty and
Augusta community, Richmond County Sheriff's Office investigators need your help to figure out what happened. News Channel 6's Renetta Dubose spent today in that area, back now with what deputies are doing to keep people safe. Renetta?
We were there talking with people in River Glen Apartments, and despite this recent shooting and another one just 2 weeks ago, they told me off camera they feel safe. Even though this food mart says no loitering, it's happening anyway. People are posted on the corner of East Boundary and East Telfair near River Glen Apartments. That's close to where a shooting happened Sunday night.
There's a possibility that the incident actually occurred outside of River Glen. We're just not sure yet.
While Richmond County Sheriff's Office investigates the latest shooting, others live their daily lives, catching the bus or walking to and from the store. News Channel 6 looked at the number of
Shooting spree in Augusta that left 1 dead and 2 injured. Rodney Ivy has been arrested and charged in connection with all 3 shootings. He's facing charges of murder, armed robbery, arson, and using a gun during a crime. News Channel 6's Ann Maxwell joining us now live in the newsroom with more details. Ann?
Thanks, Brad. The road to Rodney's arrest all started with a car fire on Lake Erie Drive. Officers checked the address where the vehicle was registered and found the car's owner dead from an apparent gunshot wound at his house. That discovery led to the arrest of the suspect, Rodney Ivy, who is a convicted felon.
81 an 8-year-old girl was killed in a drive-by shooting over the weekend. Aubrey Anthony was killed right in front of her home in South Augusta. It was the first homicide of the year in Richmond County. News Channel 6's Chloe Salsameda is live outside the sheriff's office. And Chloe, Sheriff Roundtree wants anyone with information to come forward.
One of 2 victims shot in Augusta last night has died. Authorities say the incident happened in the 2600 block of Bridge Over Avenue just after 9 o'clock. The victims were transported to the hospital for treatment. We're told 15-year-old Kwan King later died. The GBI Crime Lab will perform an autopsy. Kwan's cousin, 15-year-old Willie King, was arrested and charged with murder. Our newsroom, we now know the identity of 2 people killed following a shooting last night on Hammond Avenue here in Augusta. According to the coroner, they are identified as 27-year-old Raven Michelle Talbert and 27-year-old Mercedes Nora Shanice Gibson. They both were shot at least once and died at the scene. Autopsies are scheduled at the GBI Crime.
Up tonight with that breaking news we have been following since late last night. A Richmond County investigator shot and killed in the line of duty. Cecil Ridley, working an investigation at a convenience store at the corner of 12th and Laney Walker. He died at the hospital. The suspect, Alvin Hester Jr., was also shot by other deputies. They're all on administrative leave during this investigation. Moments ago, the GBI announced it will file several charges, including murder against Hester. Late this morning,
investigation in Richmond County. A couple found dead at an Augusta home Wednesday afternoon. News Channel 6's Wes Cooper is live with the latest.
Jenny, a local family is mourning right now after 2 of their own were shot to death in the Garden City.
It's been a pretty busy year to start off with.
Richmond County Coroner Mark Bowen and Richmond County deputies hard at work Wednesday to find out what happened on the 100 block of East Hale Street.
Once we arrived, we realized that 2 people had been shot in a residence. We are handling it as a double homicide.
Bowen has identified Hilton and Jeanette Turner as the victims.
After a shooting in broad daylight that left a man seriously injured. Wes Cooper has been following this for us all afternoon and evening long. Wes.
Deputies say they found a 27-year-old man with a gunshot wound to the head at a South Augusta gas station this afternoon. As law enforcement puts the pieces together, the search continues for whoever is responsible.
Richmond County first responders rushing to the corner of Deans Bridge and Milledgeville Roads Monday, responding to a shooting.
In our society today, violence is something that we have to live with.
With a double homicide investigation underway in Richmond County, 2 people are dead and 2 others injured. It happened at 201 East Telfair Street, which is the former River Glen Apartments. News Channel 6's Wes Cooper is live on East Boundary Street across from the apartment complex where everything went down. He joins us now. Wes?
Jenny, the scene is all clear here at the Magnolia Court Apartments, what used to be the River Glen Apartments. We have seen some Richmond County deputies driving around this area, just making sure that everything is calm. One woman I spoke to tonight says she knows who
killed in the line of duty. So this is what we know.
The NBC station in Augusta is reporting a Richmond County Sheriff's deputy and a suspect were both killed in that shooting. The GBI is now headed to the scene. We're going to bring you a lot more details.
Overnight, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting that left one woman dead. News Channel 6's Ashley Doss is live at the scene with the very latest on that story. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning to you, Mary. It is a very quiet scene here at 15th Street and Harper Street. If you take a look behind me here, you won't see anything that looks like a shooting could have occurred here, but that was certainly not the case as the scene just cleared here around 4:30. And I want you to take a look at some video here from earlier this morning as it was a very active scene. I'm going to walk you through what took place here this morning. Now, shortly after 12:45 this morning, that is when the Augusta University police received a message about a disturbance on 15th and Harper Street, and just before those officers